Yeah. So I was talking about bankers, the government has deposits in cash balances with Reserve Bank of India. Then they, again, if state governments are taking some loans and advances from the government of our central government, yes, there the Reserve Bank of India can act as a debt manager to the government, right? So they are the one who will be responsible for giving the loans also, as collecting the loans also on behalf of the central government. Even that also is done by RBI. Then union budget decides the annual borrowing needs of the central government here. So sometimes, especially government may need certain additional funds by the central bank, okay, that is the Reserve Bank. So that is being decided on union budget, wherein how much extra money is going to be needed is to be borrowed from the RBI for the developmental schemes in our country. So that is also being done under done by the RBI. That amount is also given by RBI. Then interest rate control, then raising the loans for the banks, okay, state of statutory liquidity ratio. All these things are being controlled by Reserve Bank of India. So these are certain things which the RBI takes care of on behalf for its for the look, so that the it ensures that the customers don't lose faith in the banking system. I told you about this already, banker to the banks, because it gives loans to the banks. At the same time, it also accepts the deposits from the banks in case anything extra is there with them. So that is why it is called as banker to the banks. Uh, then smooth and swift and seamless clearing and settlement of the interbank facility. So there is something called as bank clearing process, which I will be discussing in the next class. So don't miss the next class. So there are different banks operating with different branches. So in every branch, people will be going and depositing different other banks' checks. Okay, those checks have to be cleared. So it is the duty of Reserve Bank of India, having its branches in different places of our country, which will be acting as a banker to the banks. Okay, so this Reserve Bank of India will be responsible for clearance and settlement between two different banks. So you will be understanding what is this clearance process and settlement process in the next class. Okay, so I'm not going to deal with it too much now. Then it provides an efficient means of fund transfer for the banks. Okay, let us say if ICICI Bank is supposed to pay SBI some big amount, okay, Reserve Bank of India will help them to facilitate the fund transfer. Okay, and it acts as a lender of the last resort, right? If banks have certain problems in terms of raising funds or anything, the last person where they will go and approach for help or support is the Reserve Bank of India. So these are some facilities given to banks as a banker, as RBI as a banker. Then we have FERA, FEMA, right? Earlier it was known as FERA, that is Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. Now it is called as Foreign Exchange Management Act 1973. So exchange rates of rupees in international markets have to be controlled. So that is also undertaken by Reserve Bank of India. It controls and regulates the dealing in foreign exchange payments outside our country, import and export of your currency notes, transfer of securities between residents and non-residents, acquisitions of foreign securities, acquisitions of immutable properties in and around outside India. All these are taken care by Reserve Bank of our country, right? So even to ensure that the rupee does not lose its value in foreign exchange market, there are certain things or certain actions being taken care by RBI. So that also is done by RBI to ensure that the rupee does not lose its worth in the foreign exchange market. Then I was talking about payment and settlement here, clearing and settlement houses here. Okay, so when two banks are transacting with each other, so there is a situation where settlement of funds come into picture. Okay, so that is arranged by the Reserve Bank of India. It acts as a central bank in India and has been playing a developmental role, taking initiatives in terms of safe, secure, sound, efficient, accessible, and authorized payment systems in our country. So today, one wonder is that digital banking has come into picture. The role of RBI in terms of ensuring safety and security for the customers, for the people of our country, the responsibility has increased here. Okay, so that also has to be taken care of. Timely payments for the customers, okay, that also has to be taken care of by Reserve Bank of our country. So what is this settlement and clearing? Until and unless you understand that, you will not be able to understand these terms. We'll discuss that in the next class. The other very important responsibility for Reserve Bank of India is research and data. If you go to call company, this RBI website, you know, there are a lot of reports which are generated by RBI. Okay, so RBI in terms of giving information related to investment opportunities abroad. Okay, then we have reports like I can say half yearly, annual reports, quarterly reports. Okay, financial recent report which is being generated is a strategy for financial education 2020-25. Okay, such kind of national strategy for financial inclusion. Then review of agricultural credit. Okay, review of investment companies, review of liquidity management framework. So very varieties of reports are being prepared by doing a thorough research by RBI. And what is the use of this research? This research reports are being used by banks in terms of framing up their policies and working on much better operating systems here. So uh, these are some things which are being done. It helps us to maintain and develop statistical data, reporting systems, forward-looking surveys for monetary policy, educating the public, right? So there are every year many new reports are being prepared by the Reserve Bank of our country, right? So that will help basically the banks as well as the government also to come out with some new schemes, new opportunity, new I can say initiatives which can help the country to strengthen its banking system. And as I told you in the initial days, if you are able to strengthen the banking system of the country itself, the half of your part when it comes to developing the economy or growing the economy is done. So that is the reason why today that mergers of banks was initiated to strengthen the banking system of our country, right? So reliable data driven information is needed in terms of decision making even for government, and that information is given by RBI to the government, also for general public for information purpose, right, and all. So these are some things which are being done by Reserve Bank of India. If you just go into RBI Act, okay, so it is almost a around more than 100 or 200 page report, which is really lengthy in nature. So it has been just like squeezed up, okay, squeezed up in a very short size. This is enough for you people when it comes to examination point of view. Okay, so that's all about RBI and its role today, right? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so in the next class, I will be, these are all repo rates, reverse repo rates and all. Okay, so in the next class, I will be talking about Banking Regulation Act 1949. Okay.